Let's begin life as we've said, and we always remind ourselves what life is, as we said yesterday, right? When people want to know, how their life is going, what's doing with life, right? I want to change my life. Everyone wants to change their life, right? It really means I want to change myself. That's really what we mean when we say, my life is not going well. It means I'm not going well. My thoughts are not going well. Whatever it might be, I'm not living the life that I want to live. I'm not living the me that I want to be living. And the blessing of, and the gift of being alive, I'll say, as opposed to the gift of life. The gift of being able to breathe, and the gift of the moment that we're in is the fact that we can change. And if I want something to be different, then I can change that thing. Now, what we get challenged with many times is I want to change that person, I want to change my mother, I want to change my father, I want to change, somebody else. And that's really when we get stuck. We get stuck when we're trying to change other people, and when we're trying to change the weather, when we're trying to change circumstances, and we're trying to change things that we're not able to change. But when a person is focused on changing the things that we can change, and a person is focused on changing, whether it's my thinking, I got to change the way I think, I got to change my productivity, the things that I'm doing. I want to change, how I interact with people. I want to change, to be a more open person, to be a more honest person. I want to be somebody who listens better and doesn't talk, as much as, some people, I've always said this, some people need to learn to talk more. Some people are very closed and they need to learn to talk. And some people, and usually it goes the opposite, and some people need to learn not to talk so much. They talk too much. And what's important to learn of yourself is just in general, it's always good to know yourself and to get to know yourself and to get comfortable with who you are, especially with the world that we live in where there's so many expectations and social expectations that I'm supposed to be this, I should, right? That's why I should be this, I should be this, I should do this, I should do that, as opposed to this is what I want to do, this is who I am, and I want to make the decisions that I want to make for myself. Many times we try and lock ourselves into situations where we don't make the decisions. And it's very important as a person gets older. When you're younger, you don't make decisions. Your parents make decisions for you most of the time when you're younger. And the transition between a child and an adult, a lot of times, that's why from 16, 17 till 21, 22 is from the most challenging times. Because that's when you either you choose to become an adult or you choose to stay a baby. I choose to be a baby and I choose to not make decisions, or I choose to learn to make decisions, to make more productive, more healthy, more good decisions. I want to speak about one thing that we spoke about yesterday, and just to clarify, we spoke about this after the shir, but I just want to clarify because it's so amazing, I think, this point. And then I want to really begin, we haven't really begun with the structure of the shir. I really want to begin the Mesilas Yesharim. That is this year, just talk outside. We're going to begin really with the introduction, just to talk out some points. But one thing we spoke about yesterday was about happiness. Some people were challenged with this, and I really want to just express this because I think it's very important. The concept of I want to be happy all the time. I want to feel a certain feeling all the time. And I think that's part of the challenges that people have is they want to feel a certain way, or they have this expectation, right? I'm mentioning, Joshua, a little bit what we spoke about yesterday. I said I want to clarify a little bit about what we spoke about yesterday, and that is that there's this expectation that people have that I'm supposed to feel a certain way all the time, or I want to feel, right? And we'll say the word happy, even though it's a very tough word, right? Because what does it mean, happy, that you're happy? So I want to just explain a little bit, and I want to hear from you guys as well. But basically, if you think about life, you think about yourself. We'll say that better because, like I said, you think about life. What does that mean? You think about yourself. You say, am I? And we mentioned this a little bit before. Am I a person who is productive? Productive people are usually more happy than unproductive people. Now, I'm not saying that every productive person is happy. I'm just saying that is a principle that can bring a person to feel more happy. Like I said yesterday, I say it all the time. I say many times, oh, Rebbe, I'm not happy. Rebbe, I'm depressed. Rebbe, I'm sad. Well, what do you do all day? Well, I'm not really sure what I do all day, right? I'm not really sure what I'm doing. Okay, well, it makes sense that you're not happy. That's not such a question, right? When you're focused and you have purpose and you're being productive and you're still not happy, that's a different conversation, or you're still not feeling a certain way. Let's talk about honesty. When someone's honest and they live honestly, that makes them feel good about themselves. It makes you feel good. When you do things that are principles, that are good things, it might not be in the moment. It might not be in the moment that you feel awesome, you feel great, but there's a deep, good feeling, right? When people, let's say something very, very important. When people, let's say, escape, right? The four main escapes that we have are drugs, alcohol, your phone, the entertainment system, right? Not really your phone, because people don't use it so much as a phone, but your entertainment system and your sleeping. Those are probably the four major escapes that people have. And what are they escaping from? Why is a person smoking? Why does a person do drugs? Why does a person drink alcohol? Why does a person watch whatever they watch and how much they watch? And why do people sleep a lot? Because they're having trouble, usually, again, there are many different nuances, but basically they're trying to find the solution for a problem that they're having. They're trying to find a solution. They're trying to feel a certain way that they're not feeling. So what do? They do these things. So what happens is, as a result, is two things happen. Number one, you don't heal that which you're healing, because it doesn't give a solution to what the problem is. I have problem A, and I'm not solving it with this other thing. That's number one. And the second thing is I'm not feeling good. Nobody could say they feel good about themselves if they're doing drugs, if they're drinking alcohol, if they're getting high and they're drinking a lot and they're escaping a lot and they are not productive. Nobody could feel good about that. Forget about the pain. Forget about the fact that you're in pain and that's why you're doing it. No one's going to feel good doing something that doesn't bring happiness. When somebody gets up early in the morning, we'll get to you in a second, Simcha. When you wake up early in the morning, no matter what it is, it's a good feeling. Wow, I'm up in the morning. When a person is working out, jogging, it feels good. When you're honest with somebody, it feels good. When you go against your nature, it feels good. When you're constantly giving into things, it doesn't make you feel good about yourself. And that's besides the pain that you have while you're doing it. So you're in double pain as a result. Yes, Simcha.
What pain, what do you escape with? Like, what do you feel good with when you go to sleep, like longer?
Well, you might not have that.
I'm saying, what solution would that bring to someone?
What solution does someone have when he's on his phone all day?
Whatever, he might feel good about doing, like, checking some stuff.
Right, good. But I'm saying,
But how does sleep make someone
well, sleeping is because he's avoidance. If someone sleeping,
feel better than just making.
well, it feels better because I can't. People who have strong anxiety, a lot of anxiety, might sleep a lot because, or they might not want to show up places and not face their day or face certain things because it's too much for them to face. So therefore, the way they do it is by sleeping. That could be an escape, or they don't want to deal with things. Yes, Morty.
You mentioned earlier about you can't change people.
Yes.
So how do you go about if the people around you are doing things that
Great
you don't
question.
necessarily like or
Great question. So you have a choice. Why are you hanging around those people? That's a question you got to ask yourself.
I'm not talking, let's say it's closer than friends.
So if it's family, so I've said that many times. If every time, now people don't like this might trigger people, and that's fine. Trigger away, right? If people have trouble with their every time I talk to my mother, every time I talk to my father, it's abusive. Every time I talk to my brother, it's not good for me. It's not good. Then question that. Then you can question that. Obviously, our goal is to have great relationships with all of the people who we love and our families. Some people are toxic people. Some people hurt people. If you are in a relationship where someone's hurting you at this stage in your life, I'm not talking about a 15-year-old kid or a 12-year-old kid or a 9-year-old kid who's getting hurt by someone, then you can't really do anything. It's sad. But when you're 18 plus, when you're 20 years old, when you're 30 years old, and someone is hurting you, now, again, I know people don't like when I say this or it makes them feel uncomfortable. I don't know if they don't like it. It hurts to hear this. It's on you. It's really on you. Why do you keep on, right? There's codependency. What is codependency? You have an alcoholic. You have a wife of an alcoholic. The question's on the wife as much as it's on the alcoholic. If you have someone who's not treating a wife well, or you have a wife who's not treating a husband well, so it's an equal question on the spouse as it is on the person who's abusing, right? Again, I'm not talking about someone who's a minor, someone who does not have control. A father or a mother that abuses a child, it's very, very, very simple. We call that black and white. The father and the mother are guilty and the child is innocent 100% of the time. If a father or a mother or an adult abuses a child, it's 100% the fault of the parent. Now, I'm not saying the child is not jumping around, but at the end of the day, a child is innocent. The parent and the adult is guilty. When you have two adults, that's already a different question. Yeah? Good, Morty? Another one? Yeah. Rafi? We'll get Rafi, we'll come back.
If someone doesn't have goals.
Yes.
If someone doesn't have goals.
Yes.
And they don't have a reason to do productive things.
Yeah.
Right? But they're sitting about it, not doing anything.
Yeah.
I think it's good for them to say, I gotta get up and just do things that I know are productive for the sake of being productive. It's gonna make me happy. It's gonna make me feel good.
It's a start.
Or should somebody first find goals?
It's a start. People underestimate, great question, Rafi. People underestimate the emotional effect of your scheduling and being more consistent. If you're sleeping, if your schedule is really inconsistent, very strongly inconsistent, and you can wake up whenever you want, and you go to sleep whenever you want, and it's irregular, then it will irregulate your emotions. Your emotions are very much connected to your sleep, to your, believe it or not, to your food that you eat. People don't realize that. You eat, the way you eat, the sugar that you eat, when you go to sleep, how early you go to sleep, when you wake up, that affects your emotions very, very, very strongly. People underestimate how much that affects a person's emotions. That's not going to heal necessarily your trauma. It's not going to necessarily heal your pain or the hole you feel that you have in your heart or whatever it is. But when you regulate your day and you eat a certain way, it very much will affect your emotions. Good?
Yeah, can I just one other thing?
You could ask 10 other things.
For me, like, there's a lot of things in my day that I don't really know why I'm doing them. I'm just doing them because I know it's good for me to be productive.
Great.
So, how do I approach that?
So you might-
It's very difficult for me. Let's say just an example, working out. If I don't really have a reason to work out, I just know that it's good for me.
Right.
It's very hard for me to push myself to go work out.
Right. So can I ask you a question?
It's hard to push yourself to anything.
Great question, Ravi. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Do you play piano every day?
No.
Why not?
I don't have a piano, and it's not worth that much for me to go and get one.
Nice. Do you play guitar every day?
Yes.
Why?
Why? I enjoy it,
There you go.
and yeah,
So pick,
other things I want to be able to play. So
exact, great. So pick the things that you enjoy to do. Pick the things that you want to do. That's the beauty of our yeshiva. The beauty of our yeshiva is that you could do that. And no one's telling you what you should do. This is what you should do. Don't should do anything. Do what you want to do. If you want to wake up, what? Correct. But what's the pshat? The pshat is because when you go ahead and you say that this is what I want to do, I want to play, why did I ask you piano? I don't know, I'm like random. Why aren't you playing piano, Rafi? That's being productive, because I don't want to play piano. Now, if someone says, okay, I'm working out, no one has to work out. Some people don't like to work out. How about taking a walk? It's only a positive thing if someone walks around. No one could lose by taking a walk around the moshav. Someone says they're jogging. I don't tell people to jog. You don't have to jog. You don't have to work out heavily. But no one can tell me, right? You don't have to only eat vegetables and eat vegan and perfect. No. But nobody can tell me that if I learn to eat a healthy meal that I'm not going to feel better. No one can tell me that. No one can tell me if I take a walk around the moshav once or twice, I'm not going to feel better. It's impossible. You will. Again, it doesn't mean you're going to heal your trauma. It doesn't mean you're going to heal. That's a different conversation. Good to be back, right, Aryeh? Good to have Aryeh. Aryeh is back. Aryeh Citrabaum is back. Amazing. Yeah.
People say the word escape.
Yes.
Sounds very negative.
Right.
There's also positive escapes. As long as you're not doing nothing, you're finding more about it, you like it.
Right, then that's not an escape anymore. That's not an escape. That was the law. That was what I read, right? This is powerful. Avram, you're going to love this one. I mean, everyone's going to love this one. Listen to this. Thank you, Aryeh, for the alley-oop for this one. Ready for this? Listen to this one, guys. We've said this before. True self-care is not soft baths and chocolate cake. It is making the choice to build a life you don't need to regularly escape from.
Wow. Can you repeat it?
Yes. Is that amazing? So true self-care is not soft baths. I mean, that is also good, and chocolate cake, that's also good, but that's not true self-care. True self-care is that you are making the choice to build a life that you don't need to regularly escape from. And as a teenager, it's hard for that. Why? Because you have your I don't mean teenager, you have to be 18 years old. You can be 25 years old and also be a teenager. You know what I'm saying? What I mean is, if you yet have not, I was just speaking to someone recently, and he knows who I'm referring to, but I'm not going to mention his name, even though he probably wouldn't care, but I'm not going to. And I'm so impressed with our conversation. Why? Because what was our conversation about? Our conversation was about, what do I want to do? How do I want to live my life? When you begin to think like that, you're unstoppable. You are unstoppable. When you start thinking, yes, I love mom, I love dad, I love grandpa, I love the whole entire family, love them all, and gain everything from everyone. But you know what? It's my life. When you're 15 years old, when you're 12 years old, I agree. There's nothing, I'm not talking to people like that. That's not who I'm referring. I don't know what to tell you. I just say, hold your breath till you get out of the house. But it's good to get out of the house. It's good to get out of the house. It's not an insult to parents. I'm a parent myself. I don't want my kids in my house. I mean, that sounds bad. I want my 11-year-old in my house. I want my 14. I don't want my older children. Baruch Hashem, they're married. Get out of here. Not because I love when they come visit with their family. Not because I want peace and quiet. Because make a life for yourself. I don't want you to be attached. Oh, daddy, I don't know what to do. Mommy, I don't know. Get out of here. Go build yourself. Go become great. Go become independent. That's what life's about. Life's not about, how can I, sort of make it through? How could I survive? How could I survive in this crazy world? There's so much power that we have. There's so many gifts that Hashem gave each and every one of us. And we sell ourselves very short, especially at this stage in your life, right now in this stage of yourself. It's a very crucial time to be able to say, is it my friends or is it going to be my future? Is it going to be my popularity, or it's going to be what I know is the most important thing to do? Yes, Penny.
2 points. First of all,
Yes.
he's not there anymore, but when he said
Morty.
that question about changing people, that just keep
Right.
on, you can't change the people around you, but you can change the people around you. Also, another question. Let's say some person has been through something and he does have what I would describe as trauma, and he does do something that we can consider an escape. Let's say he is facing it. He's in therapy as much as he should. He's being honest with himself. Is talking about it.
Awesome.
There's many, many hours throughout the day where if he wasn't doing things like that, smoking on his phone, sleeping, he'd just be sitting in sorrow. It's like a quick, easy fix.
Correct.
So why do we automatically attribute that to him escaping? More like, coping until he can figure it out.
So good. Okay, beautiful. I like that. I like the point. So let's talk that out together. Meaning, I think that there are levels. Meaning, yes, if a guy is going to therapy, if he's trying to be honest with people, if he is being more or less productive, and he's having a good, solid day, and he's pretty much, so yeah, those things aren't escapes. Those things are outlets, right? You could have two of the same, we've spoken about this before. You could have two guys watching a movie. For one guy, it's an escape, and for the other guy, it's an outlet. For one guy, it's going to motivate him. For the other guy, it's going to demotivate him.
What Rabbi categorizing as outlet is
Yeah.
very productive schedule. Outlet
Correct.
is sort of like, you have to be thinking about the Gemara or the therapy, all that. What I'm saying is that I don't think it falls in the category of outlet. He doesn't want to sit in his trauma. He doesn't want to sit and have to think about whatever hardship he's going through. So he will drink, he will smoke, but he's doing whatever he can to fix it.
So it depends.
Is that an outlet?
Right, yes. That would be fine. If a person...
So what I'm saying is the black and white, Rabbi the other week said if someone's drinking, someone's smoking, they are escaping.
So if you remember what I said, you're talking about when I said by Rabbi Veronshir. Oh, I said it here. So I'll say it very clearly. So let's good guys, let's talk about this. This is very good. If you smoke every day, you smoke every other day. If you get drunk, not if you drink, once a week, twice a week, if you're on your phone watching watching whatever you're not supposed to be watching, and it's inappropriate what you're watching, and you know you don't want to be watching, you're watching that twice a week, 3 times a week. You're escaping. If you're sleeping late 3 times a week, 4 times a week, so a guy who does something once in a while, someone who does something once here and there because he needs a break, he's not perfect. Who's perfect? But someone who's consistently smoking, someone who's consistently drinking, getting drunk, someone who's consistently watching pornography or doing whatever he's doing, consistently. I'm not saying every day, but it's consistent. So that is a problem. That is a problem. Someone who's consistently sleeping a lot. I'm not talking about, you're I think, referring to somebody who's okay here and there. And so he's, through his work, he'll get to it. Through his work, he'll get to it. But don't underestimate, Penny, do not, and everyone, do not underestimate. Do not underestimate if you're doing one of those things. First of all, it's very normal and typical for people nowadays to be doing one of those 4 things or all of those 4 things or whatever it is. But you want to check yourself on that. You want to ask yourself. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with somebody. What am I doing? And again, I agree with you. If you're in therapy, if you come to the shiur for sure, if you're motivating yourself more, there's no question about it that you're at much less of a risk. But it's complex. Yeah. Sure, yeah.
I just want to say, I remember Rabbi saying last year about building your schedule and like doing the things you love and enjoy. And Rabbi said like, it's not bad, not that it's not bad, but it's okay to go clubbing or go anywhere as long as it's not every night, like with your friends, hey, let's go. But as long as you put it in your schedule,
correct.
Like every other Thursday night, we're going to go out, like,
exactly.
That's fine.
Correct. If it's in your schedule, correct. I mean, unless your schedule, it depends, you could put whatever you want in your schedule, yeah. Right, every night from, yeah.
How do we understand for ourselves what healthy escaping is and how often we should do it? Because like there's a lot of breaks in yeshiva throughout the day.
Right.
There's a breakfast, lunch, and supper.
Right.
So how do we preserve that time
and
do healthy things?
Right. Beautiful. So right. So just to answer, let's get this clear. Escaping is never healthy. Sorry, Arya. I know you were saying, it's never healthy to escape. Escaping. Why am I escaping? Exactly, and a break. When you have a break, if I have a break, and I want to watch a movie, and I take a movie, or even if I don't have a break, if I decide that I'd like to watch a movie, because I had a long week and I want to take off the nighttime, right? There's a guy in my shiur, right? I'm not going to say his name because he might not want me to say, but this past week, is anyone here who was there when I did this? In my shiur during Musar, we were talking about taking breaks. I want everyone to hear this. This is a live story that happened I think it was this week or last week. And in my shiur, I was giving a shiur about taking a break. And someone in the shiur I saw was connecting very much, and he was like, he even went like, he felt so good and he's been working hard. And I told him that day on the spot at 10 o'clock in the morning, I said, go to the beach now. And I took out of my pocket 100 shekel and I gave it to him. And I said, get out of here. Now, he didn't need a break. He didn't sleep late. But that's exactly why I was teaching him and teaching the shiur to say, don't wait until you need to escape. Don't wait till you need to escape. Be proactive in your breaks. Because you know what happens in life? If you don't take things that are mutter to you, if you don't do things that are mutter for you, you will end up taking things that are usser to you. That's a fact. If you don't take care of yourself at the things that you're, right, I always have this. Oh, I'm not watching football. Watch football. Watch basketball. Play basketball. Do healthy outlets. And then know what happens? Then you're not going to need to escape. Anybody who needs to escape is because they are not taking care of themselves properly. They're not investing in themselves properly. And if that means, like you're saying, what do I do during the break? If that means you use your phone productively for things that you like, then you have to do that. You must do that. You're not allowed to not do that. And I want to tell you something. It's one of the hardest things. Here, I'll show you a picture. I'm sure he'll be okay. I'll show you, Shua. I'm not going to show everyone. Here, I'll show you a picture of what he sent to the shir on that day. Where is it? He sent I told him, I said, I want a picture of you on the beach. He went out, sent a picture to the shir chat. I wanted it. Why? What did I say? Because you're learning well, you're pushing yourself, take a break, and then get back. And if you need another day, take another day. Because otherwise what happens? Then it ends up with the alcohol. Then it ends up with that. Then it ends up that because, I'm done. And the Yetzer Hara is a genius. Because what does the Yetzer Hara do? He pushes you and pushes you and pushes you and pushes you and pushes you until you have to take it from the forbidden places, not from the places that are mutter. Shua Osina. Look, guys, I want to show you something. If you want to know, what?
There's a brand new one.
There's a brand new one. Which one is this? Is number 2 or number 3?
Number 2.
Number 2, right? That means he said it's a brand new one. That means he has a full-fledged notebook that is filled with what? Filled with, can I read something?
Sure.
Right? Nice. Nowadays we're confused. That's why we see confusion. I like that.
It's all Rabbi's,
Okay, good, but you're writing it. This is how if you want to become something, what you do is you got to take it seriously. You have to take your life seriously. You got to take yourself seriously. Thank you, Shua. Amazing. Love it. And you know what? Someone like Shua, I'm not having a private conversation with him, right? But people like this who work hard need to take breaks. People who don't work hard have to stop with the breaks, chill with the breaks. Usually it's like the talkers and the non-talkers. The talkers have to learn to stop talking so much, and the people who don't talk so much got to learn to talk a little bit. Same thing with the guys who need to take the breaks. The guys who work hard need to take breaks. The guys who lazy around, it's okay. They've taken a lot of breaks. Not worried about the breaks. Enough breaks. Yes. What? No, they've been at the beach too long. Shua I'd send to the beach. Oh, am I sending Shua? Could be. I'm not going to do that publicly now. But yeah. Shua's a guy who works hard, so a guy like that needs healthy, amazing breaks, because the Yetzer Hara is going to push him not to take a break. And then it'll break him. Go, Betsy.
I think it's also very important that when you take a break, before you take a break, know what you're doing on your break.
Yes.
Otherwise,
I love it.
You get into your break and you're like,
love it.
Distractions there,
Exactly. Well, Betsy, No. So that goes to the reason what you're saying is so beautiful is because what happens is when I put my break into my schedule, then I'm gonna plan it. When I'm escaping, I'm not planning it. I'm just like done. I'll just grab whatever I can put my hands on to feel good, as opposed to this is what I need and this is what I'm going to do. Love it. Great point, Betsy. Yes. Avram, you're going to say something today, Avram? Come on, you got to share something. Yes.
I need to learn when not to talk.
What?
I need to learn how to not talk more.
Okay. Respect that. Shkach. Okay. Yes, Yehuda, you had your hand up. Yeah.
So 2 things. I want to know,
Yeah.
first of all, you said something about, this is just quick, you said something about, just now, you said something about like alcohol and how that shouldn't be like a break.
Right.
So I'm saying like, first of all, what do you consider a break? Is it like a full day thing where someone goes to the beach, or is it just like, oh, I got to unwind for an hour?
Could be
Like, is that like a?
I would say both. I would say
You're
both.
saying that's like a more frequent kind of break, but every now and then you need like
you
the
need
big
both,
one?
right? I would say it depends on who you are, and I would say you need both. You need to plan both within your day little breaks and bigger breaks, and then you have.
So,
You know,
so,
Okay.
so with that, I feel like when I've, like in the past, when I've taken like bigger breaks, I feel like I broke myself.
nice,
Like
right?
I feel like, how do you take a break without actually breaking? Like without completely leaving the mindset of being
Good.
consistent with everything you want to do, and like still like you know have a good time. Like, I feel like there's the balance there is a little
I
like
think the balance.
tricky.
I think the balance is hard, and I agree with you, Yuda. I think the reason the balance is hard is because we don't do it enough, and we wait until we need it too much, and then we take too much of a break. It becomes extreme, as opposed to, I mean, there's a reason that Hashem, Simcha Rabba, there's a reason that Hashem made a Shabbos once a week. There's a reason, right? There's called people take sabbaticals. There's a reason Hashem made the world that there are chagim, that there's times for us to take a step back and to so many psychologists and the secular world are so into, imagine a big psychologist saying, and I remember when I learned psychology, I remember reading this genius thing. Once a week, sit around with just your family and don't go shopping and don't go, oh, you mean Shabbos? Oh, that's what you mean? Shabbos. Genius. It's a genius. Sit around just, you know what Shabbos is? That's what Shabbos is. Why did Hashem? One of the reasons, obviously, it's a very holy, holy day. You know what's holy? It's holy to spend time with your wife, to spend time with your children. I tell my kids this all the time when my kids ask me about, secular Jews who don't keep Shabbos and this. And you know what I tell them? And we say it naturally. I say, I feel bad for them. I feel bad for them. Forget about, Gehenna and those things. That's not our business. We don't know who's going to Gehenna and who's not going to Gehenna. We don't know Hashem's cheshbon of how he does things. But I know one thing. If I had my phone 7 days a week, and I know if I could drive my car 7 days a week, I know I could go shopping on Shabbos, I'd feel bad for myself. I tell my kids this all the time. I say, thank God we have a time where you sit together with your family. You have a time that you don't have to go anywhere. You're able to spend. So Hashem put in the Bria. Hashem gave us a nighttime on purpose. Where it used to be, nighttime was time to go to sleep. It used to be, you go to sleep, because Hashem understood. He said, you need to rest. You need to take care of yourself, right? What happened was in our day, my day, just to tell you guys, with the internet, with the email, with all that crazy stuff, know what the whole point of it all was? Read about it. Read about it. Read about 1980, whenever it was, and Bill Gates and all these things. Why they were doing it. Why for what? To make things what? Easier, to make things more convenient. Guess what? What did it do? It did the opposite effect. And I've said this many times. It used to be that a person would go in a car with his family and actually have a conversation with his family. Or you go into a car with your friends, right? And you talk to your friends. Now you go into a car, you go on a bus. I remember when I was your age in yeshiva. I remember this. I mamish remember this. It's so crazy that I can remember this. I remember when I would take a bus, know what I would do? I remember I would look out the window and I'd think about life. I remember changing my life on buses. Why? Because I had moments of a break. I had a break. I had forced break because there were no cell phones then. What would I do? I'd bedafka pick a window seat and I'd quote unquote, sorry to use this word because it's such a, especially you guys, it might be even a crazier word. I would trip out on looking out the window and just looking at people and seeing trees and seeing different scenes and be like, wow, wow, wow. When does a person get to do that? Never. Who's looking out the window? Who looks out the window? Why would you ever look out the window? You're either reading something, being brainwashed by another. Brainwashed. Don't think it's not like that. You are being every time you open up your phone, and you go to a news outlet, I don't care what the name of the news outlet is called, right? Because in Russia, they call it Pravda, which is Mr. Propaganda, Russia. And you know what Pravda means? Truth. So even if you're opening up a media outlet that's called, this is all the truth. There's only one truth, guys. There's only one truth. It's right here. This is the only truth there is.
Didn't you say on Sunday?
Yes.
Mrs. Fischer, you said something about how you got to stay focused and you got
Yes.
to, like, you shouldn't be looking around at other people.
Right. I definitely didn't say you shouldn't be, but yeah, go.
Right.
Right.
But you're saying like it's a good idea to keep your eyes on yourself.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's kind of like that's contradicting like looking out the window on the bus as opposed to like reading a book.
Right. Okay, that's good. That's a good question. I'm not looking out the window. I'm not looking at other people copying other people. I'm looking at the mountains. I'm looking at life. I'm looking at the world in a beautiful. I'm not looking. I wasn't looking. Right. The quote I put here. This was the quote that someone sent. Very, very chush of a person, very special person who listens to the shiurim for many years now. And they sent me this thing. Here it is. And I put it on there. Don't, side point, don't be too much in your own world that you don't see others. And don't be too much in other people's worlds that you don't see yourself. Okay, there's a balance. The balance is, there's nothing wrong with sitting on a bus and looking out the window. There's nothing wrong with going on a skiing trip, right, and looking. But what happens is, what I'm saying from a break perspective, when else are you taking a break? A break from just to download what's in your mind, just to process, just to think. We're disconnected from that. Yeah, Reb Simcha Rabba, I know.
I love what you said about Shabbos.
That why?
Like, I'm like sitting there, I'm literally like hearing like in my mind, like a part that's like arguing with you.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, what do you mean? But you can't play video games on Shabbos. Like, you can't do this, and you can't do that.
Right.
And then like the next thought was like, yeah, because Shabbos is being forced on me. I mean, I'm in such like, if a person's in such an unhealthy place,
Right.
they don't want to be present.
Right.
So then it's like the Shabbos becomes like, it's like, I'm giving you a gift of being present. It's like, I hate being present. I hate being around my family. So it's like, you're sharing this beautiful picture of Shabbos, and it's like, it's like
yeah. So I love that, Reb Simcha Rabba. So this is what I want to say to that, and I mean this with all my heart. I really mean this. I really mean this. You guys are at a stage in life where it's not about your present family. It's not about you going home and your father and your mother and Shabbos. And I hope this triggers people, because that's a good sign if this triggers people, right? You're done with your family. Which means, it doesn't mean your family is not beautiful. Doesn't mean you're not going to have a great relationship with your father and your mother, but you're not 8 years old sitting at your Shabbos table anymore getting the love you got or didn't get from your family. It's over. You're not that kid anymore. Now, it's about creating your family. It's about deciding the picture that Simcha Rabba is saying. It's about what are me and my wife going to be talking at the Shabbos table, and what are my little kids going to be? You want to know, right? Like Simcha Rabba is saying, oh, but I can't stand, my family Shabbos table, or I can't handle this. Why are you going to that Shabbos table? Then don't go to that Shabbos table. Then why are you going there? Oh, I have to go there for Kibbut Av Va'im. Okay, I don't know. That's a different discussion. I don't know. You're in Israel now. Why are you going? Why is your head going there? Now, it doesn't mean, I just want to be very clear. I'm not saying for anyone to hate their parents. I'm not saying for anyone to not have amazing relationships, God willing, that you'll bring your wife and your kids. But that story is over. It's done. It's done with. Now, sometimes that's painful. That's why I said I might trigger you when I say that. And that's okay if it triggers you, because that's the truth. I'm saying the truth right now. And the truth is, you're not a little kid who's going to get the love or re-get the love or didn't get the love or did get the love or blah, blah, blah from your family. It's finished. You did it. You made it. You're here. Now it's about, how do I live in reality that I could sit at my Shabbos table and have a healthy discussion with my wife and my children and not get angry when my little kid is spilling the grape juice all over whatever they are, or they're not behaving during my Shalom Aleichem, especially when the guests are over and I'm trying to impress people. How am I going to go ahead and not get angry at my wife, right, for saying something or doing something or whatever it might be, or your kids, blah, blah. How could I be more present at my house as a husband, as a father? How can I learn to live an authentic, good, healthy life? That's the question you want to be asking yourself. And if you can't sit on a bus and look out the window on a Tuesday, and if you can't walk around the moshav without touching your phone every 5 minutes, and you can't go ahead and walk around without listening to music, and you can't do that, then how you expect yourself to sit at a Shabbos table with a bunch of rowdy kids and your wife who's not giving you the love that you need from your mother? It's not going to happen. Promise everybody here. It's not going to happen. And assume it's not going to happen. Work with the assumption, as I've said, I haven't said it this year, but it's a good way to end off this year. I've said this and I love saying this. I love saying this because I love saying things that are things that are true. Things that are true. And one of the things that I'm going to say is true, and that is that assume. I have good news and bad news. And I'll start with the bad news. Then the bad news is, assume you're not going to have a great relationship with your wife. Assume you're not going to have a great relationship with your children. Assume that. That's the bad news. Assume that. The good news is, you don't have a wife. The good news is, you don't have children. What? Exactly. But I'm saying even more than that, Menachem. I'm not saying prepare for the best, for the hope, prepare for the worst. Assume the worst. How many people have great marriages? How many people have okay marriages? How many people have bad marriages? Most people have okay marriages. Then you're good. That's great. Wow. What? Yeah, okay, good. But I'm not even going there. I'm saying even if you stay married, how many people are in love with their wife? How many wives are in love with their husbands? So I'll tell you one thing. You could do whatever you want. You guys could do whatever you want. I made a decision, however young I was when I made this decision, but I made a decision one day in my life. I don't know when it was, why it was. I could speak to Simcha Rabba about that. Right? Maybe he can help me understand where it started from. I made a decision, and I'm happy I made the decision. I'm only going to have an amazing relationship. It's not an option not to have an amazing relationship. And that takes hard work, and it takes a lot of hard work and even more hard work. Now, if someone decides, okay, I'll have an okay relationship. So I said, great. That's the bad news. The good news is, if you want to have an amazing relationship with your wife, you want to have an amazing relationship with your children, you can do that. You can do that. But there's a lot of work that you have to put in to get there. But you will get there. Guaranteed. I guarantee everybody in this Beis Medrash. I guarantee everybody who's listening to this year. I guarantee you, if you're committed to have an amazing relationship with your spouse, you will have an amazing relationship with your spouse. You will. If you're not sure, I don't mean to be a bettor, but if you're not sure, I'll bet you're not going to have a great relationship. That's what I would bet. That's what I would bet. Okay, it's not a Shalom Bayis shir, but I guess it just became one for a few minutes. Hashem should help us all. Yeah, sorry, it's just late. Okay, we didn't even do any of the, but it's fine. We're good. Thank you. Hashem should help us all. We should be zocha Wait, before everyone goes, this is important. It's important how to end off, right? Everyone, Hashem should help us all not be worried about your future. The best thing you could do for your future, exactly, is now. Anyone who decided, let me ask you guys a question. Anyone who decided to come to Mesilas Yesharim today, did it not help your future? Of course it helped your future. But all you did was come to Mesilas Yesharim. Exactly. That's the point. You don't have to do crazy things for your future. Just do what you got to do now. Amazing, everyone. Thank you.